Hi everybody, James here. How you all doing? Welcome to another video. Vinyl finds video with a bit of VCLT thrown in. Lots to get through. So this record I picked up from Heightside Records market stand a while back. Didn't know anything about it at all. Hamilton Bohannon. And I thought it was interesting. And shortly after I bought it and listened to it, John Downing, 6-inch pianist, promptly uploaded a video showing a couple of this guy's records and saying that he really liked him. And I thought, oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, he's a drummer who did loads of disco records back in the 1970s. I'm not sure if is he French, Spanish? I don't know, it's good anyway. It's good kind of classic, obscure 1970s disco. Can't be beat for a quid. Good stuff. Right, let's show a couple of lovely record gifts that I've had lately. The first one is from the VC's wonderful Martin Parrott. Check him out if you haven't already. Martin's doing some great videos at the moment. He's been keeping me up to date with previous church albums, which I completely missed the first time around. He sent me some great stuff. I need to do a video and show you everything that he sent me. He sent me some nice church items. Not a band I was ever aware of back in the day, but I've become aware of them since being on the VC. This is their album Starfish, which I believe is a bit of a career milestone for them. Really good stuff. Always reminds me of sort of, I don't know, The Cure mixed with Lloyd Cole and the Commotions. Bit of Simple Minds, very chiselled sound, but also very melancholy, very introverted, quite kind of downbeat. Lugubrious was the word that I came up with while listening to it. Quite kind of studenty, literary, you know, just a really interesting band, and from Australia, and yeah, I just completely missed them at the time, as I do have a habit of doing. Missing out on great bands has been the story of my life. This one from Dean, Grandma's Handbag. This is a record that he showed in one of his videos. He did a needle drop on it, and I dropped him a line to say I thought it sounded really interesting. This is Hatchy and Keepsake. And then Dean said he wanted to send me a copy of it. I think, yeah, just raw generosity from down under. So Hatchy is what you might call a kind of dream pop band. I think they're Australian. I think Pitchfork wrote about them, and I like the sound of it. It's got a very lush, reverby, classic dream pop sound. Dream pop is a genre that I'm not too up on. I've got an album by Beach House and a couple of other things, but it's not a genre that I particularly know a great deal about, but it's got that kind of woozy, psychedelic, poppy kind of feel. Really, really nice album. I played that last weekend while I was doing some record cleaning. So thank you, Dean. Grandma's Handbag. Do check him out. I should be putting links down below. Couple of records now from a couple of different guys on the UK scene. Now let me get these the right way around. Yeah, this one, The Car's Greatest Hits. This came from Mark, otherwise known as Flip Disc. He doesn't post videos, but he does comment on videos, and he's quite active on the Facebook page for the VC. Cars, just not a band that I ever listened to back in the day, really. They just sort of passed me by, really. I don't know why. Obviously I know Drive. Graeme Watson was kind enough to send me a copy of their classic Heartbeat City record after I made a video. I made a video a while back saying, so it was a thing talking about, you know, records that I probably should have heard by now but haven't, and this was one of the ones that came up. So Graeme said, oh, I've got a spare copy of that, so he sent it to me. So I've been enjoying that. You know, I guess Drive is one of those songs being a bit overplayed, really, but you know, it's enjoyable, solid pop music from the 80s. Didn't realise this album was produced by Mutt Lange, Robert John Mutt Lange, of course famous for Def Leppard and for the Boomtown Rats, you know, various other bands, AC/DC, Back in Black. So yeah, The Cars. Thank you very much. So that's Mark, Graeme, Dean, and Martin Parrott. Thanks guys, always appreciated. Right, I'm going to whiz you through some vinyl finds from the last few weeks. From the Antique Centre here in Lancaster, which I visited a couple of days ago. Really pleased to find a copy of the Doobie Brothers' second album. This is The Captain and Me, which I do have on CD. So yeah, just a great early Doobies album, produced by Ted Templeman, the immortal 1970s producer. Great keyboard work from Bill Payne. You've got Jeff Skunk Baxter on here, who obviously went on to be in Steely Dan. I mainly know the Doobie Brothers' later work. I'm a bit sort of patchy on the earlier records, but like I said, I do have them on CD, so I'm kind of starting to make inroads. Now this next one was a real bargain, I thought. There is a huge, well, there's 2 price stickers on, and I did and ah a little bit, but in the end I decided to go with it. Tell me if you would have done the same. This is a twofer. Not a twofer that I'd ever seen before. So this is Robert Wyatt's Rock Bottom, paired with Ruth is Stranger Than Richard. Now this record I've never heard before, so I'm looking forward to hearing it. Rock Bottom obviously is an absolute progressive rock, art rock classic. It's the record that Robert Wyatt made shortly after his accident, you know, when he fell from the upstairs window and broke his spine, was it? Ended up in a wheelchair. Produced by Nick Mason. It's just one of the great kind of free-form, jazz rock, strange, psychedelic, lyrically bizarre kind of albums of all time. Fantastic. Now, like I said, it's a twofer, and I actually paid £15 for it, but that was just because I was thinking, well, you know, £7.50 for each of these records. I never see them in the wild. If I was to find a decent copy of Rock Bottom, you know, I would probably have paid upwards of £15 for it anyway, just to get it on vinyl. So I thought that was quite a nice thing to get. There we go, Rock Bottom, Truth is Stranger Than Richard, which I haven't listened to yet, but will be doing so. Bit of pop, bit of Richard McCook pop music. You can see Rosie in the background there. Picked up a copy of Susie Quatro's Greatest Hits from Outside Records a couple of weekends ago. It was so funny because there was a record there. It was a really obscure 1970s folk, acid folk prog album which I'd never heard of, and I was looking at it and I was thinking, should I get this or not? And in the end I put it back and bought Susie Quatro instead. So make of that what you will. Form your own judgment about my musical taste and my musical priorities. I just never bought Susie Quatro's records, and you know, I've been really enjoying Richard McCook's 1970s pop glam videos. He's a big fan of The Sweet, Susie Quatro, you know, all those groups. So I thought it was time I got a bit of Susie into the collection to get the thumbnail sorted out. And this is great stuff, you know. It's got Devil Gate Drive on it. I just love the opening of that song, where she just it starts and she just goes, you know, are you all coming with me to Devil Gate Drive? And you hear all these people going, yay! And you just want to go, yay, I'm coming, Susie, I'm coming. Susie Quatro, can't be beat. Absolutely brilliant pop. Mickey Most, of course, fantastic pop songwriter. Couldn't leave that there. Next one, slightly dodgy. This is Stanley Clark. Now I see his records around in the wild quite a lot. Generally don't pick them up, but this one was going cheap, so I grabbed it. So Stanley Clark, I chiefly know him from his work with Paul McCartney. He's on the Pipes of Peace album and a couple of other things that McCartney did. I think he's on Tug of War as well. But obviously he's known as being a very, you know, famous and accomplished fusion bass player. You know, really good musician, amazing. This record, I've given it a few spins now. It's a very strange album. There's some good fusion stuff on it. Some good, you know, instrumental firepower going on. But then you've got these slightly dodgy early 80s kind of pop songs, really. A bit like Weather Report, you know, not Weather Report. Mahavishnu Orchestra. John McLaughlin did a couple of albums later on where he tried to go into the kind of pop sphere, and fusion artists did have a tendency occasionally, you know, to try and tap into the pop audience. It doesn't really work, really, not really their forte. It's an enjoyable enough record, and I'm quite pleased they got it just for the cover, really, because the cover's so ridiculous. Stanley Clark, Rocks, Pebbles and Sand. It's an okay record, you know. Nothing special, like I said in my last video. I was talking about something or other. I can't remember what. Right, next we've got good stuff here now. Bought from Heightside Records last week. One of the missing Tom Petty records that I didn't have. In fact, this might be the only one that I was missing now from his classic run. This one comes from 1982, produced by Tom Petty and Jimmy Iovine, and it's the album Long After Dark. So pleased to get this. Never see Tom's records in the wild, really, or extremely rarely. And this is a really nice album. I really enjoyed it. In a What was the big song on here that I really liked? One Story Town, You Got Lucky is a bit of a Tom Petty classic. The final track, A Wasted Life, absolutely beautiful. Just one of Tom's most lyrical moments. Just really, really gorgeous, you know. He was good at doing those kind of laid-back songs as well. I mean, the Heartbreakers were such a great American rock and roll band, but they could play with subtlety, you know, when they wanted to. And yeah, I was just so chuffed to get that. It's a really nice label too, actually. Look at the label. There we go. So yeah, that was at least a £5, but I was willing to pay for it because, like I said, Tom's albums don't come around too often. This next one, an artist, I've never owned any of his records, and I've never even heard any. I saw this one and I thought to myself, right, okay, the time has come. This is Niels Lofgren, and it is the album Cry Tough, which I didn't know anything about, never heard it before. Got a good lineup of people. Ainsley Dunbar on drums, you've got Chuck Rainey on bass, and a variety of other people, Al Cooper on keyboards. So Niels Lofgren, obviously he was from the E Street Band, he was also in Crazy Horse as well, and this is one of many solo albums he made, and I really enjoyed it. The first time I heard it, it did sort of remind me of Ry Cooder. He does some good slide work on it. It's more technical than Ry Cooder though, there's a more kind of yacht rock kind of approach. It's on A&M. I have an A&M video which might have gone up by now, or it might be going up at some point soon. Yeah, very, very accomplished guitarist. Nice songwriter too though. The song It's Not a Crime, really beautiful song. It's got lovely backing vocals in it. He's quite lyrical. He's got his lyrical poetic side, he's got his poppy side, his soulful side. There's a bit of rock in there, a bit of fusion, slide guitar, like I said. I don't know, I was just really impressed with it. Having heard about him for so many years, and I was curious about him, I thought I would take the plunge, and I was pleased that I did. Niels Lofgren and Cry Tough. Right, two more. This next one was from Oxfam, charity shop find, and it was only £4. And the reason it was £4 was that it said that there was some sound issues on it, but I figured for £4, you know, take it home, give it a clean, give it a spin, it sounds absolutely fine. So this is the Byrds and Dr. Byrds and Mr. Hyde, which, I don't know, might have been their 6th album, something like that. I think it came out after The Sweetheart of the Rodeo. And it was the record which, I think it was the first one where the lineup had started to really change. Chris Hillman left during the recording of it, I think. Gene Parsons joined, and there was various things going on. Produced by Bob Johnston. I think it was the only record that they had produced by him, and they weren't very happy with it. It does have a slightly murky sound to it, but there's some great songs on it. There's a cover of This Wheel's on Fire, which is not a highlight for me. Side 2, there's some good rocking stuff. Drugstore Truck Driving Man, which I think was written about some kind of right-wing politician that they weren't big fans of at the time. Nice ballad in the song Candy, and it ends with a bit of a blues medley. My Back Pages, cover of My Back Pages, and then BJ Blues and the Jimmy Reed song Baby What Do You Want Me to Do? I think that's Jimmy Reed, isn't it? Yeah, really pleased to get it. Apparently it was the only album on which Roger McGuinn takes all the lead vocals, and that was because the lineup was going through a transition, and I think he was concerned that that the fans might be starting to kind of lose touch with who was in the band. So Roger McGuinn stepped up and said, right, I'm going to do all the singing on this record, just on CBS, Red CBS. So yeah, not bad for £4. £4 for the Byrds from Oxfam. Splendid stuff. Right, and this last one, another record on the great A&M. And this one, picked up from Heightside Records last weekend, I think, or 2 weekends ago. Was a little bit pricey, this one, because of the condition. I was thinking, is it worth it? And I thought, yeah, do you know what, it is, because I never see their records around the place. This is Smoking by Humble Pie. From, what year is this from? Goodness only knows, I don't know. But I've only got one other Humble Pie record. Is it Town and Country? It's the one which is quite kind of mellow, quite kind of, you know, laid back. This is more what you think of as being classic kind of hard driving, rock, bluesy, Humble Pie. Fantastic vocals by Steve Marriott. That's got kind of gravelly, of horse quality, you know. Some nice laid back tracks on here, some good covers. There's a cover of Road Runner by Holland Holland. There's also a cover of another one. What the cover was? Oh yeah, really great version of Come On Everybody by Eddie Cochran. And yeah, really good. Jerry Shirley on drums, of course. He was the Humble Pie drummer who later went on to play with Syd Barrett. I think he's on maybe the second Syd Barrett record, I think. Really chuffed to find that. Like I said, it's got a bit of wing wear there, and it was priced up. It was priced at about £6 or £7, which was more than I really wanted to pay for it. But I do think Humble Pie records are quite hard to come by, so I was kind of willing to go out on a limb with that one. So yeah, there we go. Right, that was another failed attempt to clear the inbox. So perhaps next time I'll do it. Just need to stop buying records, and that's the trick. Hope everybody's doing well and good, and take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.